Hi friends, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and today we've got something a little bit different behind us. Yes, I believe it was the great philosopher Britney Spears who said, "Give me a sign." Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today. It's a little out of the box, a little bit different than what we usually do, a little bit dark because this thing is quite bright, but the fact remains, here we have a sign, and we're going to talk about who needs an LED sign, who it's good for, what it consists of, and how to decide whether moving to some LED type signage for an organization you work with is the right thing to do. Let's dive in. Okay. So as you can see, here we have a standalone LED sign from DVS LED systems. Now, a fair amount of people make these days, and what kind of makes the DVS thing different, as always, is one, they have found and are importing a product in this signage category that is actually repairable. And that's a really big deal. I spent a lot of time before DVS came out with these, just looking at different signs in this category, looking at different brands, different manufacturers. A lot of them are not repairable at all. Like, they die, things go bad, you can't fix them. These are different. So there's some different options to them, and they're really cool. So what's the purpose of it? So it's essentially an LED wall. It's, modules and a frame and a case all put together in one that is completely standalone. You can put it on your network and access it, load content into it via a free app for computers, for PCs, and maybe Macs. And then it runs on its own, on a schedule, on demand, whatever. And so this can be a really big thing. Like if you have like a music venue or a church, or a theater, you have some sort of organization where, say you have signage in your hallways, right? Pretty common, okay? And I've looked around, and a lot of times, for a couple $100 you can buy a stand-up sign that, looks a lot like this, right? Not digital, but just a printed sign, right? And then every time you want to switch those sign banners, of course you've got to get somebody to design the graphics for it, but that's the same as this. But then your printing cost, every time you want to switch out that fabric for something new, is often $100, $150, $200, right? And if you do that, once a month, twice a month, you can start to see how that can really get expensive, not only in just the cost of the banners themselves and the printing, whether they're vinyl, whether they're fabric, but also in the labor cost, right? Having somebody from the maintenance department, the tech department, whoever, switching these out, making sure they do it on time. It's kind of a headache. And so going digital can really provide a lot of improvement there, where somebody can they can manage tons of signs from a computer anywhere on the network. They can upload new graphics to it, and as we can see with these silly graphics I made for a trade show recently, they can move, right? They don't just have to be printed. They're video, right? They're full on video. They can have lots of movement, little movement, no movement at all. But the fact is, if you do a lot of signage in your space, you might want to look at something like this. So here are my concerns when I look at a product like this. The first is, how does it perform? How does it look? You can see here on camera, it looks really great. It's a little bit harder to make it look great on camera than a typical LED wall. And that's going to be the case with these because ultimately they don't use quite as nice of LED drivers in them as a typical LED wall that we would sell would. Why? Because they're not designed for use on camera, right? They're designed for in hallways, in lobbies, places like that. The next is repairability / warranty. DVS typically does have a 5-year warranty on all their products. That being said, with these signs, it's a 2-year. Why? It's not that it's less repairable or less reliable. It's just simply the fact that You have this sign, and they're pretty heavy. They're over 100 pounds, right? And they're large. We'll get to that in a minute, but essentially, you know, a single sign in a road case or a wooden box shipping crate is oversized in freight shipping. So they're real expensive to ship initially, okay, right? To ship it out to the customer initially. If something would happen and it would have to be come back for service, it would be very, very expensive and kind of kill, you know, it would really just kind of kill the sale in sense of you'd be way underwater on, you would cost way more to send it back than you made on the sale, right? So from a retailer, from a selling perspective, you know, warranting these for a long time is something that nobody really does in the industry because there's just always that weird area. Like if one had to ship back, it's just so expensive, right? There's going to be a couple options with these. So this one here is on a stand. I'll show it to you. Okay. So it comes out of the box and it's a complete cabinet. I believe it's steel. Okay. And I know things are a little bright here because of how bright this is. You can turn them down. I just haven't for the sake of this video. So they're going to come in an enclosure like this. This one is an indoor rated enclosure with a 2.5 millimeter pixel pitch. We can go finer. We can also do outdoor enclosures. This one has a fold back stand, though I kind of like the rolling base stands a little better, and I might switch this out because they stand straight up, have a rolling base, awesome to go. Down at the bottom, you've got the brains of the operation. It's a Novastar controller, just like any other LED wall. It can connect wirelessly to your network, and it feeds whatever input is in its little media server to the wall itself. And that's pretty much it. Typically, sell them with a road case if you're going to move them around, but if they're fixed in a venue, then we'll just do a wooden shipping crate because you just don't need that stuff. We'll get the glare from our softbox away. And you can see how, you know, this is a really cool option. They're well built. They look good, both in person and on camera. We've gotten it to look good. And the biggest key is that they're repairable, okay? Before we got this video together, before we put this together, I actually took this sign apart completely. Why? Because I wanted to see how repairable it is. And it is. So if you had an issue down the line with the processor, which is unlikely, but say a strike of lightning hit, fried the power supply in the processor, right? You can take those components off on the back, get a new one, connect them in. It's pretty simple. Modules are magnetically attached. They're pretty easy to remove. And very important, there is a front of plexiglass on this entire sign because these are going to be in public spaces, right? And with digital signage, with LED walls, people are always like, well, if I put it in a public space, kids are just going to come up, probably my kids, and, you know, just flick at the pixels and break them off. And, you know, the sign's going to be dead in a minute, right? So not only do these signs come with spare modules and you can switch them out for repair anytime from DVS. Of course, they're warranted for 2 years. But even after that, they'll service them for a reasonable cost. So not only do you have modules that you can pop out and switch out, but these are actually coated in plexiglass. You just take a couple screws out of the back or the side, slide the plexi out, and off you go. You can repair them. So at the end of the day, I think if you're in a place, and maybe you've never thought about this before, but you work in a venue, in a facility, in some sort of, in a gym even, and you have signage that you change out a lot, like once a month or more, then you may want to calculate how much that's costing you and look at a digital option, because not only is it going to save you the time and labor of switching out those signs, but it's going to switch you out the cost of the signs itself. They're going to say looking great. They can change at a moment's notice. They can show multiple messages. There's a lot of wins. Now, they're not exceptionally cheap. There's definitely a cost to them, especially because we factor in the shipping. But we have some packages over at Lawrence Stage Lighting Gear that we'd love for you to check out. So you can get a single sign, but by far the best deal is a 2-sign package where you can get 2 signs in a road case shipped to you anywhere in the lower 48 states. And, you know, for the right people, it's a really cool thing. If this isn't your fit, if this isn't your thing, you've probably tuned out by now already, right? And you say, you know what, this kind of sign, not right for me. Totally fine. But if it is, you know, there's a lot of places you can buy these things. Not a lot of places that are giving you spare modules that are giving you support that are there for you and building something that's actually repairable over the long run. And that's why we've partnered with DVS to bring these signs so that you are able to get this awesome signage, be able to use it in your space, and do a really great job. If you're looking for more than 2, head over to the contact page under resources on Learn Stage Lighting Gear. Let us know how many you're looking for. We'll quote it out. We love to help you guys get these signs so that you can create some amazing video signs to go along with everything else you do. If that sounds good, we'll see you on the site. If not, hey, no worries. We'll catch you in the next video. Have a great day. See ya.